Yeah.
Yeah, we needed a shade for this side.
Yeah, for the video camera. Say hello, sister. Today we're gonna go over a couple of things here. Screen. Yay, we can share our screen. This is my screen. All right. So today we're going to go over a part of the classes that I didn't touch bases with yet. We kind of did some stuff in this program. If you like this, go ahead and comment, message, something. Send me an email or anything that you want, and I'll get this to you. This is just pretty much what the program is about and what we're trying to do. There is a teacher certification program. We are really pushing for language use rather than language knowledge. And this is pretty much what it goes over on saying. But there's another piece here that we didn't quite touch it. I was kind of getting around this establishment of a language nest. This part here was we kind of did a little bit of the outskirts of the stuff. We kind of washed our hands, and that's just one part of a whole nest. Let me correct my saying on this, because there are two definitions of language nests. One, language nest is where you nest the children in language. Is not what we're doing with this language nest. Is the other definition of a language nest, you nest the language in the nest to where there's no other language spoken outside of the target language that you want to speak. Right? So I've been working on this project. My kitchen is completely done into the language nest. I have a bathroom set up and my bedroom set up to where I will only speak the language in those places. I'm thinking about having a safe zone in the front room or something of that nature to where I will have my front room in the language nest only, to where I would only use language. How I ended up doing this is that I went and grabbed yarn and then I just stuck it up on the wall, and then staples, tape, whatever you can do, just to see that, okay, beyond this, I get to use the language. I get to use Lashutsi. On this side, Lashutsi only, but on this side, I can use English. This side, we are. Hello, we are. You know, that kind of idea to where it's actually something visible that you can see that says no English beyond this point. Right? Put the pasta de cedar, all tiaria. Yeah. Same concept. Where I'm going to nest the language in my language activities. So we had 6 language activities so far, and it's just getting them all together and then just start doing those language activities in that one spot, so that you're just doing this activity, enunciating it, saying everything I think is correct. This is where the student has more freedom to say everything. It doesn't have to be correct. You're just going in for usage. Now, I have a couple people here that has an idea on what they've done with their nests, and go ahead. What you've done with your nest?
Okay, so with my language nest, it's also in the kitchen, but this is also a place where I give myself permission to make mistakes. I don't always speak English correctly. Sometimes I say things backwards. And when I'm really tired, I don't make any sense at all. I can be forgiving when I accidentally stumble over words and go and start my sentence over again in English. In my language nest, I give myself the same permission to make those same kind of mistakes. And I'm able to say, it's this word that kind of sounds like this, but it means this thing. And that's, for me, that's the most important part, because that's where I learn to be as comfortable in using the language as I am in English. And for me, that's the most important part. My kids are actually picking up the language a lot faster than me. So they'll remember pronunciation better than I do. Or they'll say, "Oh, you mean this," and then they'll say it. Or I'll point at something and I'll be like, "The name for this again," and then they'll say, even if it's not correctly, we know what we're talking about. And for me, that's what's important, because I don't even do that all the time, like correctly in English. But yeah, I use my language nest is in my kitchen. I'm using the sink right now. I started with washing my hands in the sink, and now my kids are washing hands and doing dishes. So and because I'm not as comfortable in the language yet, I still use a lot of English words mixing it in. So I'm really not ready for the little red string yet, but that's eventually a goal for me and my kids. But yeah, that's just a place where I want to feel comfortable, where I feel comfortable starting it. And then I expanded that also into a board game, but we haven't gotten there in a class yet. So one of these days we'll share the board game, and we'll figure out a way to share it for the people who are interested in playing a game in the language. So that'll be fun.
Your thoughts with the language nest. You can, or you're hopefully building. She didn't quite build it yet, and it's not quite there yet.
Okay, then since we're kind of relaxed on our definition, I can talk a little bit about what I've tried to introduce at home. And it's like our teacher used to tell us to start with one room and start going from there. But gosh darn it, I'm one of the worst cooks in the country, and I should be on the worst cook's place, that TV show, because I happen to burn everything I touch. So it's like, unless the language expands to how to burn food, then maybe I can start talking consistently in the language. But for the meantime, I decided I will try to, stay in the kitchen, because I drink coffee in the morning. I can make coffee in the language. I could pour myself a cup of coffee and then drink my coffee. And then and I do dishes in the house, because nobody will come in and do it for me. So I'm stuck in front of the sink washing my dishes. I have to wash them, and so I can write up my domain around washing dishes and putting dishes away. That's the kind of stuff I can do. And then there was another aspect I tried to introduce, because I served on the tribal council for, it used to be 20 years. Now it's getting close to 30 years, and I've tried to get the tribal council members to respond in English and then to say prayers in the language, you know, because wherever we travel, whatever we do, we get called on to make a welcoming speech or to say a prayer or something before a meeting goes into progression. And so that's what those are the two areas that I've been working on. And then on a bigger, you know, more research oriented style, I've started to put together words and working from stories, you know, that we've come across in our documents of our elders, talking about what they did when they fished, what they did when they smoked salmon, you know, and various things like that, to put that into the language so we could create little books that will be put here for our young people who are going to learn the language and to sustain it, you know, for our tribe. That's pretty much what I've been working on.
Nice. So again, like I said, it's primarily pushing for language use rather than language knowledge. It's kind of difficult to say you're saying something correctly because of we can't even speak English correctly. Between New York, when there's a group of people, some people say you folks in the South, but New York, it's yous guys. It's not the same, but we understand on where they're coming from and who they're talking about by the context of the language, right? The same concept applies in learning your language. It's best to use it, mess it up, keep going with it, than trying to give up on it and trying to say, okay, I can't say it correctly, I'm getting hollered at. Just keep using the language. I can't stress that part enough on language use. It's one of the key things that got to me to where I am now. So, my old teacher would say, "What is that?" Right? You can't really see that. You don't know what that is, right? I mean, in English, right? We can share the screen again. And in Lashutsi, this is my teacher, this is Zalmai Zaire. He would say that everybody knows something and everybody's going to learn something. I learned how to use the language. I did not learn about the language until I met Zeke. And then this is where I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things I need to learn. But one of the things is I was talking to you about is at this part right here. So this line, let's just say Utsistalbuk, right? I can say that now. Utsistalbuk, right? Before, I would have to say, what is this? He'd have to take it to that level and say, yeah. And then I was like, well, what's this? It's Uts. E. This is the level that he had to take me to, right? He had to break it down syllable by syllable, letter by letter, and I swear to God, I'm part of the reason why he's bald. Because I would ask him, "What is this?" And he'd say, and I'd say, no, you're missing the. It's So don't be afraid to use the language. It's better to use it and then get up to a better level than it is to use it for a little bit, then scared, then run away, right? There was plenty of chances for me to run away, but I just stuck with it. Nobody starts off at 300-pound bar right off the get-go. So, I don't even do 300 pounds. I mean, I think I'm 45.
Fred Jones doesn't even do 300. He does 2 feet.
Fred Jones, just 280. Man, that ascot, man, must hold him back a little bit. So, again, just start off small, start off simple. If all you go to the sink and say "coat," that's a better start than I was at. Coat is water, and you can say just "co" or "coke" because I really did say Coke for the longest time, like Coca-Cola. That's what stuck in my head. Was okay. I'm gonna turn on the Coca-Cola. I was like, okay, cola, yeah, that's the level I had to take it. Katie and Eden, and then the other ones, they were able to pick it up quick, and looking at it and saying it. It's not normal. Okay, you gotta get your head out of this normal idea. It's not normal to say, okay, I'm going to the sink, I'm turning the water on, I'm wetting my hands, right? That's not normal to say. Normally, we just do the action, right? If you can do the action plus do it in the language, that's one action that you're doing that is building that nest. To build that nest up, to make sure that it becomes the language nest. Wherever you decide to do it. There are a couple of people that I know that started off in the bathroom because they can brush their teeth, they can comb their hair, they put their makeup on, stuff, and all by themselves. It's somewhere that you have control of. Katie has control of it in her kitchen.
And I had to move it. I actually first started my language nest off around my coffee pot because I was like, I love coffee. I make tons of coffee. I drink tons of coffee. I can do this around my coffee pot. I can already say Koopy. I'm halfway there. And I'm way too tired in the morning to try to think and speak in the language. I need to have my coffee first, wake up a little bit, and then I can cook and do the dishes in the language.
So I'm not asking you to be at my level right now. If you can be at her level and start off with just washing your hands or washing a dish or something, an activity in the language that you can reclaim for the language, right? Reclaim that activity. Only do that activity in the language. And then once you get comfortable enough saying it, move on to the next one. Do that one plus the next one. And then do that one plus the next one plus next one. And sooner rather than later, you'll be at my level to where you have over 300, I'm about 300 language activities that I can do at once. It's right around 300. If you can do that already, just go ahead and start using it and say, okay, this is the only spot I'm going to use the language, right? You use that spot. Don't let anybody else use any other language outside of the language that you want to be there. Well, actually, primarily get rid of the dominant language, right? Get rid of the dominant language out of that area, and then just let everybody who doesn't use the dominant language use it there, so that you guys can converse and figure it out eventually. Zeke had a had a student of his start using their language, not English. They were only communicating through the Shutseed and this other language. And then they figured out how to talk to each other by doing this. It took them about 3-4 days to figure each other out, but they started using it. And this was really awesome thing to hear from them. I got excited. So,
So they got rid of the dominant languages and used 2 languages that they were using in that area?
mhm.
Huh.
And because of they're doing the same actions,
Mhm.
because I can say, "Quad tea," whatever I grabbed and set down, and then she could understand. Okay, I take that. Oh, what is that in my language, right? So it will cross and it'll work with each other. It's co-symbiotic as long as you're trying to revitalize language. It doesn't have to be Lashutseed, although I am teaching Lashutseed. If you do these same steps in the language that you want to revitalize, I'm pretty sure you're going to start using it faster than you think you're going to use it. Again, don't be hard on yourself. I said Coke for the longest time for Coke. That's the hard part that we all gotta say. I did something. I know I'm saying it wrong, but I'm trying to say it, and people will understand. Again, like I said, make sure to get your. It could be rope, it could be yarn, it could be wool. Just post that up on a wall and just be like, okay, click, click, and then anything on either side, start using it. Best use it. Best used.
We're going to talk a little bit more about what is a domain.
It's language activity now. The term that I'm using is a language activity. Domain. Domains are activities you do in the target language. That's how come I just said language activity, because people misrepresent the idea of domain a lot in these context. People say, well, my domain is the car, or my domain is just speaking to somebody, or my domain is this time of day, when that is not really a domain. That's more towards immersion in that time set. Immersion is where you immerse somebody in the language from this time to this time, and after this time you can go into a different language, and you only speak that one language. You don't have the ability to insert multiple languages to use in the thing. So language domain can be better understand by a language activity. So language activities you do is washing your hands, washing your car. You can do washing your car domain. It could be done that way. You could do it as making toast, cooking, cleaning, just activities you do on your daily life, um, to reclaim those activities in the language and only do the target language that you want to do in that language activity or language domain. And not do English. Here it would be English. You might be in spot where your dominant language is not English, but you would want to retain that target language of yours. In this instance, it's English. We want to get English out of our daily lives, our daily activity lives. We can still use English outside of our language nest, but you kind of want to make sure it's something relevant that you do on a daily basis. That's how come I started off with everybody washing their hands. We all wash our hands at least once, right? I mean, I know this hand seen a lot of hand washing today, but it was at least once. Right? It's relevant, something I do. If you put your makeup on, I don't have makeup, it will be a bad language activity for me or a bad domain because I don't put makeup on. If you don't do makeup every day, you know. If you don't brush your hair every day, that's another one. I mean, if you don't just straighten your hair out every day, try not to do that one because you're just learning something that you're not going to use, and then you're going to lose it because you're not using it. Hence, she couldn't make coffee in the morning in the language because she couldn't remember it to make it relevant. But what I did hear is "Ahoy at the kupi, get me coffee." So I heard her start saying that one a lot more.
Commands was a lot easier when I was,
Especially with kids. Kids know it, get to know and understand commands a lot quicker. If you have kids, kitchens, maybe the living rooms, somewhere where you can engage the kid to do. And then I heard another story on somebody else had their kid tell them what to do to get ready for the day. Okay, go to the sink, brush your teeth, and then go through all those actions. The quash, twelve, chadi, ko, or adhesive, they had the person speaking to them that entire time on what to do to brush their teeth because they did it over and over and over and over again. Just come up with different ideas, try them out. If you want to help to set up a language nest, I can get a lot of yarn. And I got staples. We could do this. We can make a language nest for you so that you can be like, no English, be on this. Eh? Yeah? Cool? Not cool? I think I like the idea. You need help with that. I can help you out with that.
I'm not ready for that.
I think she is. She's too nervous. It's fine. It's fine. Let her be nervous. She'll only be able to be nervous for like a few more years. It took me about 7 years of the 10 years of me learning language before I started developing my language nest and made my language nest. So I'm just picking on her now. Sooner. It's going to be soon that she's going to be, hey, what day? But that's not now. Now I'm just going to pick on her. It's fine. Don't forget to make it fun. If it's not fun, it's boring and it's class and I don't like it. Okay, so all the weird awkwardness stuff out of the way. That is all I had for class. It. Now we can read Zeke's dissertation here. talk about boring stuff.
We can fit an entire dissertation into 30 minutes. We will speed read. We'll sound like chipmunks. Shall we try it?
Yeah, no. I'd had a whole hour and I only got paid to page 26.
Oh, holy.
Yeah, this is
Did
a
you
lot
sound
of
like a chipmunk?
information. I don't know. What did I sound like? If you could comment below and or send me a message and make sure to hit that like button and hit that bell. That'll switch colors. Get notified for the next language stuff. I will definitely keep having this twice a week. We might do it more times a week. Maybe. Depends. Boy. Shoot a beat seed. Hot quads this. Shoot a boot.
Okay, super.